This computer. Hello and welcome to
Hello.
yes to the podcast for those who believe. I'm so excited today because we have here my beautiful soul sister Jennifer Lee Bane, who only for the Casa we'd never have met and reconnected in this lifetime, and we are so close. Jennifer is my soul sister. She's over there in New Jersey, and I've been to her home and to her heavenly float spa, which is amazing there on Staten Island. And only for the Casa we would never have met. I'm so grateful to the work of Joao de Diaz and the entities of the Casa de Dom Inacio who are still full on all over the world. It's a universal family, and we're all connected by this wonderful God consciousness. And I wanted to talk to you, Jennifer, today about um, how you heard about the Casa, how you got here, how it changed your life, and of course, ignited this huge spark of divine love that's within all of us. And we need this work now more than ever on earth. And we were just talking before we started. Um, and that I also want to acknowledge your courage in us. We talked right through the pandemic, and your courage and your faith inspired me to really show up every day and to keep going.
Thank
And
you.
surrender is the word that you used, which is easy to say, but you're living it. So you can take it from here now and just tell me and us all how why we're here now talking. It's great. Love you.
I love you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here. My journey began in February of 2017. Um, so it started one day with my mom saying to me, if you don't do something with your life, Jen, you're not going to be here for your children.
Oh,
And that really, I heard her words loud and clear. And my girlfriend, Dina, said to me, Rita is planning a trip to a place in Brazil called the Casa de Dom Inacio, the John of God. And I went, okay, there's only one spot left. Do you want to go?
oh.
So I went home, I thought about it, and I said, I'm in. Well, the minute you say I am in and I am going, let's talk about challenges. I was being tested every single step of
Oh,
the way. I didn't
I
know.
hear you. I hear you.
I didn't know how I was going to fly. I mean, honest to God, it was a 7 hour flight. And at that time, the pain in my body it was beyond insane. How are we going to sit in an airplane for that long? Let's just start there. Well, I asked for spiritual anesthesia. We made it. I asked for spiritual anesthesia on that flight. Like, please protect me. Anyway, I made it. And oh, my journey at the Casa was nothing that I have ever experienced in my life.
Wow.
Do you want to talk about being challenged? I was there for 2 weeks with this group. I want to talk about being challenged. Wow. No words for the amount of challenge that I had experienced. So I went on the first timeline and, you know, presented, and he's like, crystal bed. I'm like, I came all the way here for a crystal. Okay, first thing your ego starts playing and I'm like, crystal bed. Oh, okay, no problem.
Sounds
So that,
crazy.
yes. And I'm like, wow. All right. Well, weird things started going on. So we go to the waterfall and not knowingly, I get stung by a bee. Don't feel it. And I'm like, okay, it's all good. I'm in my room and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not feeling well. Like things are going on in my body. I'm freezing cold. I'm like, what is going on? It's 95 degrees. I'm in Brazil. What is going on in my body? You know?
Oh,
Well, I should tell everybody I have muscular dystrophy, and I have a form of muscular dystrophy called fascioscapulohumeral dystrophy. So I was really going there for physical healing.
Sure.
Well, little did I know that it was so much more powerful than whatever I thought. What you think that you're going for and what actually happens are two totally different things,
Sure thing. Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So okay, I get stung by a bee, again, not thinking anything of it. I go into the bookstore and bees are flying all around me. Again, not thinking anything of this. And I buy the book of Saint Rita. I
Mhm.
open up the first chapter of the book and it is Meeting of the Bees. I'm like, are you kidding me here? So press rewind in my life. I went to elementary school at St. Rita's Elementary School. So St. Rita was very, very prominent in my life, not even knowing who St. Rita was at that time, knowing that she is the saint of the impossible. And all of these things are going on at the Casa. And I'm like, oh, okay, get stung by a bee. First chapter of the book, Meeting of the Bee. Go to Fruities, have honey, ginger, and lemon tea because I'm not feeling well. I ask for more honey and I take a sip and there is a bee. I chewed on a bee. I'm going, oh my goodness. Like you can't make this up. Talk about, profound what is going on with the bees. So
You know, I just
St.
want
Rita was there.
I just wanted to say to you, when Saint Rita was a baby, her parents were working in the fields, and there were bees going in and out of her mouth as she was breathing. And her a laborer was passing by and witnessed this. So her connection with bees and honey is since the 1500s when she lived. When there are bees around, it's Saint Rita's energy that's with you, as well as red roses, of course. But you have obviously been looked after by Saint Rita, who we love. I mean, we
We
just
love.
love her. I had a picture of her. Oh yeah, I haven't got one here, but yeah, we love her, and she's amazing. So that's you. You were joining the dots. You were putting two and two together. Through your experience here, it was unfolding for you. Yeah, that's when I met you first.
That's when I met you. And it was during your talk. So only thing that I heard throughout this talk was drink the blessed water. Drink the blessed water. It's the only thing that resonated. That's the only thing out of that entire talk. I was freezing cold. I kept going, something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. I'm freezing. I had blankets on and blankets on and blankets on and shivering out of control. And I didn't know what was happening to my body, but I just kept going, something's not right here. I am not right here. So I go into my room and I skip dinner and I'm like, I am on fire. And Frida comes into my room and she goes, honey, you missed dinner. I'm like, there's something. I'm like, I am not well. I said, again, ego happening here. And I'm like, I should have gotten the vaccine. Yellow jacket fever was going on. I'm looking up all of these symptoms because I'm having all of them. High fever, just not feeling well. And I'm praying. And at the time, I had all of the entities on my wall. And one at a time, they'd start falling off. And I'd muster up all the strength that I had to get up and put them back on the wall. And they would fall again. And I would get up out of bed and I put them back on the wall. And now I'm getting scared because I am so hot, like on fire hot. Rita walks into my room and she says to me, honey, like it's a sauna in here. And I said, Mama, I'm freezing. I'm hot. And I'm like, but I'm boiling up all at the same time. And she feels me. She feels my head. She goes, you don't have a fever. I said, it's coming out of my feet. I said, when I was a baby, the only way that you knew that I had fever was through my feet.
Oh,
So she lifts up the blankets and she feels my feet and she goes, oh my God, "You're on fire." I said, "I'm on fire." I said,
Wow.
I'm on fire. She goes out and she calls on people and and she's saying, is this energy? What is going on? What do we need to do with you here? And I said, I don't know. Somebody else walks in and she goes, "But you look beautiful. You're radiating." And meanwhile, I'm like I'm literally thinking like I'm dying. Like, this is it. I'm checking out of
It's
here.
over.
This is over. I said, I came to the casa by myself. I would normally travel with my mom and my sister, and I'm here all by myself, and this is it. Everybody leaves my room. And I look over and I see Saint Rita. And I look at her and I said, "Saint Rita, you've been with me since I was a little girl.
Oh.
I'm asking you for a sign. Please show me that I am going to be okay."
Oh.
And I am hysterical crying,
Oh gosh.
hysterical crying. And all of a sudden, I look up and there she is. I'm like, "Oh, thank you." All I could say was just in sheer gratitude. Like, thank you. Thank you. I knew that I was going to be okay at that time.
Wow.
And it took days for me to get up out of bed. There was massive, massive amounts of healing that was happening that I couldn't even comprehend what
Yeah.
was going on. Well, I come out of my room days later. And when I went to go and eat, everybody started crying. I'm like, "Why are you crying?" They're like, "Don't you see?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "You're healed. Like, look at you. You're radiating all of this light."
Wow.
And,
This is beautiful.
and I couldn't, like it was just absolutely and utterly incredible.
Great.
So I couldn't sit in current my first time going to the casa. Like it was sitting for long periods of time I couldn't do.
Hours.
However, I did have an intervention. And my first intervention that I had, whoo, it was like I cried a river. And I
Wow.
didn't understand why I was crying like this, but I was crying and I realized why. Like, what was that? And you realize how going to the casa, you're being tested
Yeah.
in ways that you can't even possibly imagine. It is not a cakewalk
No.
going there. It is
No
the
holidays.
amount of pain that I went through was beyond. I have never felt pain coming out of my body that way.
Wow.
But what I will tell you was the grace and the light that I had received was beyond, and the strength to know that I was on a healing path.
Mm.
I was told after my second intervention, it was a very profound message that I received. And then I knew at that time that I had to leave my marriage, right? And I said, "What?" I was beyond at that point because I was like, but I knew that this was something that I needed to follow down this path and
Wow.
that I needed to walk down, but I could have never done that without the grace that I have received.
Yes.
That first visit was off the charts. So I got stung by a bee. I swallowed a bee. The the first book of Saint Rita, bees flying through up into my shirt, out, never getting stung, but they were completely surrounded by me.
Yeah.
Saint Rita appearing to me. So I realized that Saint Rita has been with me forever.
Yeah. This is
And
beautiful.
St. Ignatius was the one. I was in the St. Ignatius room where all of this healing started transpiring in my life.
Yes.
So I have been to the Casa since then religiously 8 times.
Wow.
And it has been, I bought a crystal bed, and the miracles that I could say that have transpired underneath the crystal bed is absolutely beyond. Um,
For you
the
and
friend,
your family, and then
oh,
in your spa as well, because I was there, and you have one in your house and you have one in the spa. And it's really prominent in your spa. And you just were telling me before we went on air that the miracles that are happening now in this day and age, still with the crystal beds, and you actually have been witnessing these as well. You can talk to us about that a little bit, because this is beautiful.
well, the crystal bed, first of all, for me, I think it is the most powerful form of energy work, of healing, whatever you want to call it on the planet. The crystal bed, one in my house, I call it, it's on fire. Like, it is the amount of energy. It is like, you know, it fills up my tank. And I don't know how else to explain that in life.
Oh, good.
It is like when my battery is low, it is my recharge.
Wow.
And it is what keeps me going. It is what keeps me. If I did not have my crystal bed and your meditations during COVID, because when the world was shut down during COVID, my life went from normal to absolutely and utterly crazy. At that time I owned a grocery store, and it was on that front line. I've never experienced work like that in my life.
Yeah.
However, what kept me grounded, what kept me sane, was your meditations and being underneath that crystal bed.
Wow.
So when I speak about the crystal bed and the physical healing that I have received, and it's going to make me cry underneath that crystal bed, has beyond. I could say that I am standing here because of that crystal bed and the physical healings that have happened in my life. I could speak passionately about my crystal bed. So when we were opening up a Heavenly Float Spa, I was at the Casa and I heard, you need to bring a crystal bed there. So I called my mom on the phone and I said, Mom, I'm getting a message that we need to have the crystal bed at Heavenly Float Spa. And she said to me, do you think that it will go over? I said, well, I'm getting a message. I don't know that. The consciousness is really low in Staten Island. However, I believe it's our job to raise the consciousness of the planet. So let's see what happens. So I brought the crystal bed to Heavenly, and we opened up Heavenly Float Spa on the Little Epiphany. And I prayed and I said, all right, entities, if this crystal bed is supposed to be here, please let me know. And by God, what do you think the first service that sold was at Heavenly Float Spa? Was the crystal bed. And I just went, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I could tell you miracles upon miracles that have happened. And I mean, I call it the crystal bed at Heavenly Float Spa is on fire. When I tell you fire, I mean, people are receiving miracles underneath that, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritual. I see it at least once a week.
Yes.
I have a man that he recently lost his wife, and his saving grace is the crystal bed, and he comes to me twice a week to find peace.
Yes.
And you know what I say? I say, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around. And I believe that our role on this planet is to walk each other home.
Great.
And I believe in, community, right? But in that word, community, there is another word, unity. And it is about bringing everybody together. And if the crystal bed and I on this planet right now can change one person's life through my story, then I've done my job on this planet.
Thank you for that. Yeah. I get that. And you had a massive awakening at the Casa, and you are responsible also for me trusting the process, because we, rather than damn the darkness, light a candle. And we did that one night. I remember during COVID, we lit candles together on Skype or Zoom. And you kept saying, we need to trust the process, surrender, trust, and have faith. And all of those things we need now more than ever. And you are carrying this torch in New Jersey, Staten Island, through the power of the work of the entities of the Casa. And this is what we need now. Despite all of the seeming chaos that's around us, we need to stay centered. And you're this light shining in this darkness. And that's why we're friends and soul sisters, and we're so close. And I really connected with you on a soul level from the very first time I set eyes on you. And I remember when you were here, I don't know what time it was, when you adopted Max, the dog. And then I saw him in New Jersey, and I swear to God, that is an entity. Max is an entity. Because when I went to your house, that dog is out there. It could just sort of talk. I thought he was going to talk to me. And that really saved you in a lot of ways as well. I remember when you were bringing him home, he's on the crystal bed as well. He was lying on your bed. He was around the house. Just his presence alone was like a spirit of light. And he's amazing. And
he
all
is lying right next to me. He can hear you. He can feel the energy. I mean, he is a healing dog, and he did change my life. Beyond changed my life. I don't know where I would be right now, and I can honestly say that wholeheartedly, if I did not have that experience at the Casa de Dom Inacio. I don't know where I would be. And I want to thank you, because I don't know where I would be if I did not have those currents. I felt the energy, and I still feel the energy because I do them. I listen to them still under my crystal bed.
Yeah, they were entity
the work
inspired, and they are timeless. I'm not taking credit for them, because the entities, literally, it was Saint Rita, who I woke up on the 18th of March 2020, when we had to close the cafe here in Abidjania, and I heard a woman's voice, and I knew it was Saint Rita. Take the currents online. And I was like, really? I didn't know how to do that, because I'm not really computer savvy, but I was using my phones, the TV, the computers. So I was like a DJ doing all this stuff, but it all just worked. And they just kept bringing the prayers that I needed to pray. And, it inspired me. Next Saturday, we're going to do a prayer meditation, but I'll announce that later, for 15 minutes on Saturday. I think it's 2:00 US time, but I'm going to put it on Abidjani Connections. Just praying for peace. But yes, I that connection, and there was a different entity at different times, and it was currents, an hour and a half, and they're all there on YouTube, and they're still relevant today, because nothing changes in the spirit world. We are just travelers here on earth. And as Sandy said last night, she sent me a message saying she burst out laughing, because she said, I mentioned we're taking everything too seriously. I mean, we're just passing through this world, and we're not, nothing can harm us. We're safe, we're loved, but we forget that. And all we have to do is show up and love. I mean, this is just basically the teachings of the Christ consciousness and all great masters. Just love thyself, and thy neighbor as thyself. I mean, we just need to love. I know it sounds like a hippie thing to do, and it's hard. And what you see in others exists in you. So when you're challenged by people, as you have been, I mean, your story, Jen, and you've come through such trials and tribulations. And I know that the entities are with you, and you have been praying hard. Prayer is the key to God's heart, and we really connect. It's the oxygen of the soul. And I was saying to you earlier, when you're brought to your knees, that's a perfect place to pray. And a lot of us are on our knees right now. We're losing.
Amen.
material goods, jobs, we think we're losing things, but we're actually gaining on the path of on our real
Enlightenment.
path. Our spiritual
Mhm.
paths are opening up beyond all. This is a new era. I mean, we're the ones we've been waiting for. We're saving ourselves. And of course, the Christ consciousness that's very much alive here in the Casa is instilled in us. It's been reignited, and that's why we're doing. That's why I'm talking to you now, because this came to me from the entities as well. Do a few podcasts with sons and daughters of the Casa, so we remember that we are group consciousness and a family, and we can help each other along, particularly now. And I'm so excited because you're one of my special, really standout friends. And I met thousands of people here from all over the world. But we have managed to reignite this very strong bond we had. I always felt I knew you from other lives, that
Amen.
we had a reunion in the Casa, basically. When I saw you, I just thought, I know this sister, she's my darling sister, and we go way back. And
Well, what
yeah,
it feels like with you, for me, we've been on the battle. We are warriors, right? And we have been on the battlegrounds for a very long time. And my motto in life is what? You can knock me down, but you can't knock me out, right? And like you said, it's okay. Have I hit rock bottom? I'm there now. But you know what? There was a lot of grace to be there and to know that I know more than anything else on the planet right now that we are riding this chariot. Although it seems like there is a lot of darkness, there is so much light out there as well. And we are doing God's work. We are the messengers, and we signed up for this time. And this is the greatest time to be alive. May not feel that way because of everything going out here, right? But when we come in here, there is so much. Like every night before I go to bed, I just say thank you. Just thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Right? Because I am so blessed. How many people walk with not having faith? And the one thing that you can attest, my faith is unwavering.
fantastic. That's a beautiful message. And also, this is what we learned at the Casa. This was reignited in us at the Casa because we all came broken, if you like. I mean, the Casa saved my life. I mean, I was not on a spiritual path. And then when I came here, I went, oh, okay. And then my buttons were pushed a lot. And then I started to realize this is the growth. When our buttons are pushed and when we are challenged beyond all of this, we're like, what? Where's your God now? God never abandons us and hears every prayer. Like, help me is a prayer, thank you is a prayer, silence is a prayer. And that was on the wall of the Casa. And you just said there, thank you, God. Gratitude is a magnet for miracles. When we thank God for our blessings and not, give out about what we don't have, it's what we do have that outweighs everything. And your faith is a shining example, Jen. And I mean this, it carried me through a lot over the last number of years, even before the pandemic. Here in Abidjan, it was hard in 2019 when the town was sort of decompressing. You helped me through that with your sheer faith in the entities are with us, and
Always.
you have been through the wars since that. So we support each other, and that's what the Casa family is all about. And that's what this coming together is all about. We are now at a crossroads in our lives. We have a choice in every moment. There's two ways this can go. We can choose love or we can choose fear, and we choose love because, fear is not an option. I mean,
Yeah.
love supersedes everything. It is what all there is. So we need to choose in every moment. Just keep choosing love, and connect because we're not alone. I mean, look at all the help we have. I mean, I'm picking up feathers. everywhere I go here in Abidjan. I mean, it's like the angels are following me. The Archangel Michael's church is right just there outside the walls there, and it's red, and it's Archangel Michael is just slaying the dragons, and I'm picking up feathers all around the church. I'm like, oh my God, we're not alone, you know?
No, I know.
And also people are feeling it that are not on, who don't know about the Casa. You can talk about that in your heavenly spa. People who have never been to the Casa are experiencing the work of the entities. Isn't that right?
So, oh yeah. Actually, for those that know about, that have been to the Casa, know about the Casa Triangle. Well, in Heavenly Float Spa on my way home from my trip in 2018, in February of 2018, again, I was like, oh, we need to put a triangle there. So I had somebody build me this magnificent triangle, but in the inside of the triangle is Himalayan salt. It's in my salt cave. And a lot of people, go, what is that? It's a triangle? And I'm like, and I kind of laugh about that. I'm like, no. I'm like, it really is. It's an energy portal. And so I call it the triangle of prayer. And so I show everybody what to do. And, we put our head in our triangle. And very much like the Casa, people will put prayers. And, I have the entities, I have their pictures there as well. I'm not afraid to show religion. I am not whatever that is, that these are my guys. These are my, like I say, JC is my main man.
Absolutely. I'm with him all the
He's my
way.
man,
Love him. Yeah.
So it's incredible to see that, they'll walk the labyrinth and then go into the triangle and they'll say to me, Jenny, what is that? I said, well, the triangle represents faith, love, and charity. And it's something pretty magical in there. It's a portal in there. So just surrender and just pray. And you'll be amazed as to what happens. And people will just walk into heavenly and go right into the back and into the triangle. And it was just like, listen, I may not be in Brazil and have that, but that triangle is something pretty magical. So between the triangle and the crystal bed, the
Yeah.
energy, I could feel the just the presence of the entities all the time. And
Yeah.
when the energy is, and I will let the crystal bed run when there's nobody there. And the crazy thing about this is, like, I could go and take pictures and there are orbs everywhere. So that they're there. You could feel them. And everybody says, why does it feel like that in heavenly? And I'm like, because
Energy is there.
the entities are here and they are hearing you.
Yeah.
And they are, they're doing their work. So, for those that don't believe, I am telling you, the crystal beds are on fire and the energy is getting stronger and stronger.
Yes. They have been seeds planted in the world and it's multiplying at such a rapid pace right now. I have had the same experiences. I have people getting in touch with me saying that their crystal beds are ignited, and that
Yeah.
everything has just upped. The more chaotic the world seems, the more the energy of the entities has risen and keeps rising. I'm talking about a weekly basis now because it's so powerful here in Abidjan. But even when I go back to Ireland or no matter where I go, the Casa lives within us. So we're beaming out this really high vibration. My triangle, which I usually wear around my neck, is in the repair store. And people often ask me, oh, what's a triangle? And I said, well, it's sacred geometry. The whole universe is made from sacred geometry triangles. But it's faith, hope, and love. Faith, hope, and charity, as you were saying, Father, Mother, God, the family. It's infinity because it never ends. There is no beginning and no end. And then when we put our hands on the side of the triangle and put our third eye in, we are all of our energy is going up to the point and the triangle. So all of our prayers are going up to our crown chakra, into the into the celestial fields where all
Mhm.
prayers are answered. And as you know, be careful what you ask for, because
Be
we
careful
never
what you ask for.
we never get what we want. We get what we need, and you know
Yeah,
that
well,
because
oh,
you have often asked me to pray for certain things, and then something comes out of left field, and you're going, "Oh, I never thought of that," and you sent prayers down here, and they were answered in some form or another, and always for your higher good. So this surrendering
always.
is just hard because you think, oh, this doesn't seem right. But then looking back over our lives, it's amazing the magic that has unfolded for us. We're still here. We're still
We're
at
still
it.
here.
And okay, there's days when we get up and we're like, oh my God, what am I doing on the planet? But we keep going, and we keep each other going. And as this Casa family has grown, I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of people who have been helped by the Casa, and they didn't necessarily come here. They're just names, pictures, um, and even prayers put in you're just praying for people. They're receiving this energy on some level, and people who's see, you can't wake people up. You can't just say, there is a God, and it's a sacred trinity of innumerable names. People get freaked out by religious terms and saints names and stuff, especially in Ireland now,
Mm, there you go.
because I'm a recovering Catholic. So um it's really, they're all there for us. They don't necessarily have to be religious. Um, and you can call God by whatever, her, him, it. I always like to say the sacred trinity of innumerable names, because it is the Trinity. It's an amazing, it's not, it's simplicity itself. God is an easy word to use, but we are really being looked after now, and we're being carried through on this wave of faith, hope, and love, basically. So your spa is vibrating at such a high level that people who haven't been to the casa are finding peace there, like you were saying about your friend who.
Unbelievable amounts of peace. And I'll tell you another story. This happened last week, and I had to be very careful with wording. So his daughter came up to me and she said, my dad's had 42 surgeries. What do you think will help him? And I said, listen, I said, this crystal bed has saved my life. I am standing here today talking to you because of the amount of healing that I have received under my crystal bed. I am walking here today because of my crystal bed. So she goes, okay, but you can't call it a crystal bed. And I said, okay, I won't call it a crystal bed. I'm just going to I don't know whatever. I'm going to ask God for the right words to flow through me, and let's see what happens here. So he's in his 70s. I prop him up. And he looked at me and he goes, colors, lights. I said, they're lasers and they're going to get really deep within you. So just be open to receive.
That's brilliant.
Just allow the process to unfold, whatever that is. I said, and hopefully you fall asleep. And he says to me, I don't fall asleep anywhere. And I said, okay. So, again, I pray and I always say, entities of the Casa de Dom Inacio, please come. Please open up whoever's on the bed's eyes to see, their ears to hear, their heart to love. Help open them up to receive all that is and help them release what no longer serves them. So be it, and so it is. And I walk out, right? And every person that walks in, that's the prayer that I pray over them, with them, to call it all in.
Beautiful.
And his daughter comes out and I said, he's sleeping. And she goes, how do you know that? I'm like, I'm just telling you, like, he's underneath this bed sleeping. She starts to cry. We open up the door. He's out cold. He sits up. So I just said to him all the time, I said, listen, I said, I know this is going to sound really weird, but when you get up, I want to make sure that you feel that your feet are planted on the ground. And he looked at me. I said, please hear me. Just make sure that you could feel your feet on the ground, right? A lot of people leave their body and try to get up. It happened to me.
Sure.
I looked down, I didn't see my feet, but I didn't think anything of it. And what happened? I fell flat on my face. So now you learn from your experience. So I say, make sure you feel them that way. He gets up and mind you, he had 42 surgeries. Gets up and he goes, Patrice, he goes, my back feels better. He's like moving around, trying to find something, He's like, my back feels better. And I'm like,
Oh,
and I'm not saying a word. He's like, my feet feel better too. He goes, how often should I? So everybody asks me how often I should do this. I said, that's not up for me to tell you. I
yeah.
said, your body is your temple.
Yes.
I said, you listen to your body. Your body knows what you need. You know what you need.
Exactly. Wow.
Listen to your body.
That's amazing. So
So
even
keep coming
somebody,
back today.
of course, because on some level he received the download, if you like, from um, all of the entities from all different backgrounds. They're not just saints. They're from they're masters. They're from all Buddhists, all different belief systems, and they're here, benevolent spirits, to help us. And a lot of them had bodies too. I mean, the angels are with us as well, but they know exactly what we need. And you know, that prayer is beautiful, and that's an amazing thing to do, because you're handing it over, surrendering that prayer to the beings of light, who will take it from there for whoever is on the bed. So this is a great leap of faith. You know that he will get exactly what he needs from the spirits that are working through these beds. And I just think this is amazing, because it's such a simple way of living. And for some people, they just think, oh, that's impossible. But as you said earlier, Saint Rita is the saint of the impossible. To God, all things are possible. And I
Amen.
know, and you know, that this is an amazing healing tool. And there are people all over the world who have crystal beds, and they're using them to help people. But also, you mentioned, even when it goes on, with nobody under it, it transmutes
So powerful.
energy of the entire house. It cleanses the house. It transmutes all denser energies into divine light and does the cleanup for us all. And it cleans up our energy fields as well. And I think it's so funny. I thought you were going to say to the guy, it's a chromotherapy device, because it is.
Oh no, ice lasers.
Lasers is brilliant. It's like that's really what they are. They're penetrating very deep into all of our chakras. And there's no coincidences. It's the colors of the rainbow. Everything is connected. Like
Connected.
every single thing in the universe is connected. And we joined the dots here. I mean, we had a lot of God moments here, like our aha moments. I mean, we're
Mhm.
still having them. I'm still having them all the time now. I'm thinking, like, what am I doing on the planet? And then I suddenly realize, oh yes, I'm meant to be here. And I see triangles everywhere. Like even last year when I was in the Amazon, I had everybody on the boat with me. They were all looking for feathers and triangles, and we were finding all this stuff everywhere we went. We were seeing things. I mean, the beauty of the Amazon, there is a creator and a higher power when you see the creation, the forest and nature, Mother Nature, and we do pray, because she's under a lot of pressure right now. But we are disconnected from creation when we don't go out into parks, if we live in cities, or we don't go swimming in fresh water or the ocean, or we really need to reconnect with Mother Earth, because we have lost a lot of this connection through the world. The technology has taken us
Yep.
down, scrolling through social media and stuff, and comparing ourselves to others, and also becoming dissatisfied with our lives, thinking, oh, they have so much more than we have. Count our blessings. You taught me that, Jen, too. You reminded me of all of this when you came here, and Rita, our darling Rita, and all the girls in your group. You were one of my
Mhm.
favorite groups that ever came here, and there were thousands of groups here. I remember I used to go and give a little talk, a nice
Yeah.
light, nothing, because we take ourselves too seriously. So we used to always have a good laugh, and it was our time to relax and get to know each other, but also just to count our blessings. That's the simplest thing. And I did that this morning when I got up. I just thought, oh my God, I can't listen to the news anymore because it just is crazy. But a lot of it's false anyway. But I just said, you know what? I'm just going to count my blessings today. And I was so looking forward to talking to you because I knew you always lift my spirits.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. And you lift mine. We are soul sisters and we are on this planet together just to be beacons of light and ride that chariot and bring humanity forward.
Yes.
So, we are blessed. We are blessed. We are blessed. We are blessed. And yes, from the first time that I met you, I'm like, you are a rock star. That's who you are. In
Yeah.
every single sense of the word, that's who you are.
Well, we're getting the band back together again because here we are chatting about saving the world, but not single handedly. We have our capes on and we're warriors of the light, but we're still
Amen.
here and still together. And this has been it's like another reincarnation. Like we've moved up another level because the world has shifted dimensions, and a lot of people are floundering and don't know how to navigate this new energy. And really, prayer, it sounds very religious, but it's not. You don't have to be a religious person. But, asking for help from a higher source, because the earth is just a material plane. I mean, this is all an illusion. We're all going to leave our bodies. It's not like we're going to live forever, and we can't bring anything with it. Like it's not like we're going to be carrying all this material stuff with us. So as soon as we wake up to our spiritual aspect that never dies, I mean, we are eternal travelers on the path. We will just move in and out of bodies. Hopefully, I won't have too many more bodies, and I want to go to a planet with chocolate. That's for sure.
Amen.
Amen. It has to be chocolate. But and you mentioned it earlier. To think that we signed up for this, like sometimes I'm going, really, and then I am reminded because nothing is insurmountable. There is nothing that can harm us, and you're reminding me of this now. That look at all the beauty in your life. Look at how many people you're helping, despite your challenges. And Jen, you have really been through the wars.
Oh, I lost everything. I have lost everything.
I hear you.
And that is okay to say that. It was hard for me in the beginning to just watch that every single aspect of my life was being stripped away from me. Even my child, right? When Luke left, it was unbelievable. And Grace, and I would say in my darkest moments, and we were human, right? I said, my God will never let me fall. My God will never, ever, 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 ever let me fall. And, I don't say, why is this happening? What I do say is, what is the lesson that I need to learn? Right. And change it into not why me, poor me, because that's not who I am. It's what do I need to learn? And how do I come out of it like a bright shining star on the other side with, it hasn't always been I pray for ease and grace. It's been very tumultuous, but when I have felt the most alone, I know that's when my God was carrying me, and he is carrying me. And that is where, for me, my faith is unwavering. And, I know that there are brighter days ahead. And that's not just for me, that is for everybody. We are coming out of this. It's been a rough ride for so many of us, but look at how much we grew. Look at how much we have expanded. Look at how much we have served. I believe that we are here to serve.
Yes.
The whole purpose of life. It's, God gave us our gift but it's our gift to give back to humanity.
Yes, we have been given life. God said, I will give you life so that you may, enjoy all the gifts of creation, and we forget that we have been given life and that we do not control anything. We have zero control over anything. So we need to surrender, as you were saying. And this is a beautiful lesson that we have come through so much. And the work of the Casa and all that work we did in those 7-hour currents. Well, sometimes we were lucky they were only 5 hours. And what we learned there, I mean, people came here to Abidjan and the entity said, like you, he would say to them, go and sit in the current, go to work. And they'd say, I come 8,000 miles for you to tell me to sit and meditate. What is this? Heal me. And you saying crystal bed, like eye rolling. We didn't realize at the time how precious every single piece of the Casa jigsaw puzzle was. And we were putting them all together in these God moments. I mean, I had some extraordinary experiences at the waterfall, in the Casa Gardens, down at the soup. I mean, everywhere. I mean, even in the current, I mean, everywhere. And I've also had these experiences overseas, everywhere I've been. And I've been in a lot of places, and the entities are there as strong as they are here in Abidjan. But you are reminding us all really that growing pains, we have grown so much through pain. I mean, literally, we're experiencing growing pains, and we have graduated. In the Casa is like a university of life. It's not even a school because it's hardcore, and it's everywhere. It's within us. This seed has been planted. It's been reignited again and again and again, and we are graduating to the next level of consciousness, which hurts like hell. It's growing pains. I mean, there's days like, hello. But you have nailed it in your experience. We're not just talking like about this, like from an objective point of view. We've actually experienced it. Like you're talking from hardcore experience. It's not like, you're saying, oh yeah, pray. And, you literally have walked the walk and talked the talk. And and are still standing there strong, like a warrior of light, going, okay, I'm ready for the next level of consciousness. It's not going to be easy, and God never said it would be easy, but he did promise.
He said it'd be worth it.
Exactly, that's exactly, and it is worth it. When we have these amazing moments, and you are right, Jen, when you say the best days are ahead,
Yes, they are. And they're bright and they're beautiful.
They're coming.
And we're almost there. We're this close, everybody. So for those that are losing faith, listen to my words. We are so close. Let go, surrender. It is not your will. It is thy will. Let go of the wheel and just surrender it over. Surrender and enjoy the ride.
Amen. And that is something that we really have had to learn, and you are standing side by side with me on the coal face of this battle. And as I always say, we may lose a few battles here and there, but we're going to win the war.
Amen.
And it's coming very fast. Things are moving very fast now. And just the whole reminder of hang on, because it's closer than we think, and there is a baptism of fire happening right now with this. The magnitude of this shift is something we've never experienced before. It's a privilege to be incarnate on earth right now, which for a lot of people are like, are you mad? No, see the bigger picture. Rise above the human condition, because this is very three-dimensional. It's very materialistic. It's very grungy. And when we rise into our spirits, the higher part of us, that is the real us, because we are spirit, we are eternal. So when we rise into that beauty and just to have a bird's eye view of what's going on down here, we have absolutely nothing to fear. We're so safe in the arms of our Creator, who is guiding us through this minefield, if you like. I mean, sometimes we hit a mine, like, but if we keep coming back to God has this, what you said, and it's worth repeating, my God will never let me fall, Jen. Those
Never.
words are just so true, so right, and so perfect for what we are living through right now. And it is an honor to serve side by side with you on this battlefield of life, where it's the good fight. We fight with love and hope and faith and trust and surrender and harmony, and we will find the peace beyond all understanding. And you're helping people to find that peace of God in your heart. In everyone we're all connected, no matter if we're on a spiritual path or not. We're all in this together. So thank you for your work in in New Jersey and Staten Island. I mean, I've been there. I've seen what you are doing, and it is beyond compare. And you're going the extra mile for people. I mean, you're just really giving it your all. You give it 110%, and that's a rare thing. And I mean that, and I saw you in action, and you always went the extra mile for people in service. And Dom Ignacio on the walls of the Casa, to love and serve in all things for the greater glory of God. Amen. So we're just going to wind up now, and I just wanted you to, be aware that your words are going to really, your story is going to really help people, and just your faith is just so unshakable that even though you are at rock bottom, and I know your story, and it's really incredible what you've been tested by. You've been really tested, and you have stood strong through it all. And it's a huge example of rising above the human condition. And I'm really honored to be talking to you today. So thank you, Jen, really.
Thank you, my soul sister. Thank you.
And may God bless you and all your family and friends. And we will meet each other again. And we will all be reunited again. I mean, I get over there to see you, but, we're all connected anyhow. So we just really need to just close our eyes and we're together again, So,
amen.
Yeah, I love you.
I love you.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll just sign off for now, and this is beautiful work. Onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards we climb, baby.
Okay.